Hello everyone, good to see you after a long time. Today we are going to talk about something very powerful and something which can be used every day. So if you are struggling with negative thoughts, which often spiral into anxiety, this video is for you because this is a very powerful tool from cognitive behavioral therapy called ABCDE Technique, and I'm going to help you understand how can it be used to avoid and break free from all those spiraling patterns of negative thoughts and autocorrecting behavior. Uh, I am a qualified counselor and I'm here to help you to get into the right path. Through my work, I have seen multiple times that how negative thoughts can take over us, and I'm here to guide you on how to change that. How can you use all those techniques that are available with the therapists and counselors, and I am going to help you to get those techniques and use it in your daily life so that you can help yourself with all those. uh, CBT is very scientifically backed technique. It's called cognitive behavioral technique, and it's a cognitive behavior therapy, and it understand and change the patterns or how do we think. It's basically based on a CBT triangle, right? However, it's I mean, as we go into it, we would understand that it's actually understand your belief system, your behavior and action, your thoughts, emotions, and those activating events and triggers that we often come across, right? So how does it work? How does this ABCDE technique works? Let's see that. Now, many of us have experienced, a constant maybe self-esteem or self-doubt and anxiety. Right? Thoughts like I'm not good enough or I do not look good, people don't like me, and all that kind of stuff. It can take over and make our life very, very difficult. Now, imagine waking up one day and all of a sudden you are thinking instant feeling. You see a picture and you're disappointed and you feel like, oh, I don't really look good, right? Or you just look at the mirror and you feel, I'm overweight, or I'm not looking pretty. Or that single thought can actually spiral into the entire day, can make you feel horrible throughout the day, and can even it can affect your confidence. For example, if you have an interview on the same day, and it can impact your confidence. It can You have a meeting on that day, very day, an important presentation, and you just don't feel confident enough because that has kind of got into your mind, and it's just over controlling you in some way, right? So that's something that it takes a power over us. Now, what does this ABC does, and why how it helps us? Let's see, and I would help you to understand how. What can you do? Wait till the end of the video, where I would tell you actually what can you do by your own to implement ABC and take control of that negative feeling, right? So to this ABC stands for A stands for activating event, right? Which can also be called as a trigger. That is a trigger which is activating our responses. The second thing is the belief. B stands for belief, right? What are those beliefs about those particular triggering events? And C is for the consequences. So what do we do because of those events? So there is an event which is a triggering event. What are those beliefs that we have for that particular triggering events? And then what do we do? What is that physiological responses of it? What are the psychological responses of it? What are the emotions that we feel? What do we do? Do we feel nervous? Do we feel anxious? Right? How do we react to it? All those are the consequences, right? So let's see how it actually pans out, right? It's very simple. Let's take an example. Where we have somebody who's a 28-year-old person, right? And somebody who struggles with self-image issues. She often avoids social gathering, right? Because has those kind of difficult self-image constraint in her mind, right? And because she feels unattractive in herself, right? So one day she sees a photo of a on social media, and she attended some event and she saw a photo of that, and she literally does not feel, she does not like that photo, and she feels ashamed of it, and she started thinking, oh, people will be judging me based on that photo, I do not look good. and so on and so forth, right? So if this is the scenario, right? I mean, we have this scenario very commonly, which happens. So what happens to this scenario? What is that activating event for this? What is the trigger, right? So the trigger would be the photo. When that particular person sees a photo, what happens to that's what the trigger is. That's the activating event is, right? And what is her belief? The belief of her for the self image is obviously not so good, right? And she feels like she's not attractive enough. So what happens? She associates her belief to those activating triggers, activating events, right? And she obviously takes it, oh, I look horrible, I look very bad, what's going on, I don't like it, and all that. So what is happening? She imposed her belief into that triggering event, right? She just saw a photo of her, but she immediately took her belief and put those belief in that event. Now what happened to those consequences? She starts feeling embarrassed, anxious, she stops interacting with friends, she stops taking calls, so on and so forth. Now if you see what happened to that person, is it's not that event that caused all of these, right? It was the belief that, oh, I am not good enough, I'm not really attractive, I'm not good, I'm not attractive, and that what made that even bad. So it was not the triggering event, it's not A, rather it's the B which controls the entire situation, and it actually pushed that person into behave the way she behaved, right? So that's what this ABC technique helps us understand. Now this is all about understanding, right? For most of us, we will stop at the consequences. So she did not really behave in that particular way, but if you see through it, it was not the consequences. There was this response, automated response of her belief, right? That self image, that's where the problem was. It's not about the consequences. Somebody might say, oh, why you were so embarrassed of it? It's not about that reaction. Why are you behaving so childishly? No, that's not the problem, because she is behaving that way because she believed something, and that belief system is the problem. So ABC helps us understand that pattern. So whenever you see this, you would understand, okay, what is that belief which is triggering? Now what does this DE stands for, right? What is that DE which can help us take care of it? Now ABC was understanding the pattern, and DE is the way you actually tackle that situation. So D stands for dispute. So dispute is a series of questions that a person asks. So if you take that example, the previous example, what happens? She would question herself, oh, is it that I look horrible? Do I really look horrible in that photo? Do people actually care? How do I look? Right? That's the question that we are asking after seeing that event, right? I was there and people were enjoying my company, right? So what was happening? Now, the moment you have an activating event, which was the seeing of the photo, the next thing happened was your belief kicked in, and your belief said, I am not attractive enough, right? And then you started feeling embarrassed and anxious and all that, and then you disputed your own belief in the D, and you said, all right, I understand this is what my belief is, but uh, I was there, people enjoyed my company, right? I mean, do people really care? How do I look? I mean, there were thousands of people there, right? And why would they care about how do I look, right? Or am I really that bad? So these are the questions which you will dispute your belief, and when you have dispute in your belief, you have a breakthrough there, right? And that's what effect is, right? The E, ABCDE, the effect. And that effect is like you are actually putting on an effective new belief, right? Which is that, oh, you know what? I'm not that bad. You know what? People liked my company. So it's not like I'm not attractive enough. It's simply I'm just cooking up these stories in my mind, right? People actually enjoyed my company. People actually, I might not even it's like that I do not love this picture. That's okay. The picture might not be good, but that does not really mean I am bad, I'm not attractive. So what did we do? We actually said, okay, this is a picture, right? And it might or might not be good. That's a different story altogether. But it does not really define how attractive I am, and that's where the ABCDE technique helps you. Now it sounds easy. It sounds like, oh, it's very easy, we can just jump into this and become an expert at doing ABCDE, but it's really not that easy. It really takes a time for us to come to that mindset where we can actually identify ABCD, and we need a lot of practice, right? So let's take another example, and then we would see how actually you can practice it while you are suffering, or while you are going through all that, right? Let's take example of Rohan, who is 32 years old, right, and obviously an arbitrary character, right, who has pressure of family and friends and everyone, that you have to prove yourself to become somebody who is very successful at work. Now there was a recent promotion cycle, and despite of doing a lot of good work, that person did not really get that promotion. He was passed off. So when that happened, that was an activating event, right? This trigger happened, the belief system kicked in, and Rohan said, oh, I'm not good enough, I was not really I'm a failure, and that's why people keep pressurizing me, because I'm not good enough, I won't be able to do a lot of things, I won't be able to succeed in my life. And that's the belief that kicked in, and he starts behaving erratically. He starts feeling depressed, he's anxious, because he feels like, well, let me quit my job anyway, I'm a failure, right? And I'm failure in doing everything, so why do I even care to work, and so on and so forth. And those are the consequences, behavior that's a kicking. Now here's the time when he disputes, and he said, wait a minute, I have come far from this, right? I did not have a job on the day one. I came here because of my hard work and talent and effort, right? This one promotion does not really define me. I might be passed out. I mean, there might be that, okay, they did not give me promotion even though I was eligible for it, or I was a deserving candidate. However, it does not really reflect on my talent, my success, right? I mean, how can somebody's judgment might reflect on my career path, my success, right? So and that's the dispute that Rohan brings in, and effectively new thoughts. I mean that, okay, this incident does not really define me. It's a wake up call, maybe, that this might be not the right place for me. Maybe I'm not valued enough, so I might go and look for some other opportunity, right? Or I might need to go and confront or understand why I was not really selected. Maybe there were some issues that I can work on and become more and maybe I did not really look through all those things, so I can go back and look and talk to my supervisor or manager and get those feedback and incorporate and become better, right? So there are multiple ways those effective new belief can be formed. All right, now having those in the context, right, let's see what you can do every day, right, in daily life. How can you use actually ABCDE? So I would recommend you to have a journal and you write ABCDE, and whenever you catch such thing, those negative things which are spiraling, right, you can talk about in office, or what happening in office, what happening in personal life, and moment you catch that's the first important step, to catch the activating triggers, because we miss those. That's the primary thing, right? So when you catch those activating triggers, write those triggers and write the belief that you have had for those particular triggers, right? Once you have those triggers and beliefs, and then you write, okay, how did you feel emotionally, physiologically? How did you feel nauseous? Did you feel anxious? Did you feel rush of blood? Did you feel anger? Did you feel sad? How did you feel actually because of those particular beliefs, right? And once you have caught all these are those record keeping, right? Once you have gone this, then you dispute. right? And then you dispute, okay, this is what I, because now you know, and now you have got the record, so now you can dispute and create your effective new belief. But unless you do that, unless you catch, unless you record those, you won't be able to do that, right? So I would suggest that you create your record books, ABC, and then write the DE when you have got that. You can do it once in a day or whenever you feel such things. Do that, it's up to you, right? But I would recommend, if you are having a journal and if you are struggling, do that on journaling whenever you feel such thing, right? So let's summarize all of these. What did we learn? What do we need to do, right? So ABCD technique, it helps you to control your feeling, which the negative feeling or spiraling or anxiety that comes through your mind, right? You can have a record of ABC and then implement DE to actually tackle those things, right? If you like this video, if you think this is going to help you or others, please like and share this video with me. And if you want more, you want to discuss more, you're free to connect to me for a free discovery call. We can have a free discovery call and talk about the issues that we have, and we can talk more about it. But for now, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in next video. Thank you.